So there's this famous event. You don't need to draw it. Let's just take a look together, okay? It's the walk to Canossa, right? The German Emperor Henry IV had lost in his struggle against the Pope. Henry IV was a true-born noble, chosen as the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. At that time, however, Pope Gregory VII was a peasant. He was so poor, desperately poor, to the point where he could barely survive. He entered the church to serve, right? Then, step by step, he climbed up to become a cardinal and was eventually elected as Pope, right? He promoted the idea that papal authority was above royal authority, which made Henry IV unhappy, so he clashed with the Pope. The Pope slammed the table and excommunicated Henry IV. He said, "You're expelled from the church. You are no longer a Christian now." Immediately, all the German princes rose up against Henry IV. Germany at that time was just a geographical concept. It wasn't a political concept. At that time, there were over 300 states and more than 1,000 free knight territories, right? So essentially, Germany was made up of more than 1,300 small states, wasn't it? That's why Henry IV simply couldn't control these countries, and all these people rose up. How could a heretic be our emperor? Leave! Are you worthy of the cross on your crown? At this point, Henry was dumbfounded. What should he do? The Pope doesn't recognize me as a Christian anymore. He decided to seek forgiveness from the Pope, so he went to Rome. But upon arrival, he found out the Pope wasn't there. The Pope was skiing in the Alps, right? So he hurried over there. At the small castle of Canossa in northern Italy, the Pope heard his confession. Hearing he'd arrived, the Pope refused him. The gate was shut. Inside, the Pope enjoyed music and wine. Meanwhile, Henry stood outside in a snowstorm, bareheaded, for 3 days and nights. Moved, the Pope thought. He's a nobleman humbling himself. I should look. He looked out and cried, "Oh my, it's a snowman!" And its eyes still move. Right? Turns out it was Henry. He was lucky enough not to freeze to death, right? And the snowman's eyes could move, so the Pope walked toward Henry. Henry was overwhelmed with emotion. Tears streamed down his face, carving 2 tracks, right? Then he dropped to his knees, blood rushing through his body, and hurriedly kissed the cross at the tip of the Pope's staff, right? The Pope said, "Child, I forgive you," right? Just think about this. This is what happens when the Emperor of the German Empire offends the Pope. Say, if I were just an ordinary intellectual, just a regular person, right? If I were making pancakes for a living, would I dare to offend the church, right? What would happen if you offended the church? What would be the consequences? So